Well, hi, it's Mark here bringing you today's Eastgate vlog. I don't know about you, but it really feels like the world is a different place at the moment. And kind of in my head, I've been casting my mind back to the one event that felt similar to this in terms of, all bets are off and everything is different now. And that was the 9/11 terrorist attacks that brought down the Twin Towers. And I remember in the days that followed that, there was this huge benefit kind of concert that was run by many of the artists in America to raise money for those who'd been, affected by this tragedy. And I remember Don Hendley standing up and singing a staple song of his called New York Minute. And it's this song that talks about how in just a moment, everything can feel like it's changed and will never, ever be the same again. And the truth is, when it comes to change, there's some guaranteed things that you can say about us as human beings. The first is, none of us like change that is outside of our control. We love buying a new house, we love getting a new job and so on. But if somebody tells us we have to move from our house, or if somebody tells us we can no longer work in the place that we have always given ourselves day to day, we really don't like that kind of thing. But no matter how much we hate change that's out of our control, the other great truth is we have a huge capacity to adapt to it. And I just want to kind of bring a few spiritual and practical insights to kind of help us all as we start to get used to what feels like the new normal. Experts tell us that one of the most important things that we can do is get our head around what we can and what we can't control. A lot of the stress that some of us will be feeling at the moment will be about the things we actually have no control over. Whether that's, our income has suddenly dropped and we have the threat of eviction, or whether it's we have to go shopping and we don't know when we go shopping who might have this virus or not, or so on. And one of the things we've tried to do in our household is be really clear about what we can control. And what we can control is ourselves. Behind our front door, we've made a decision that our house is going to be joyous. It's going to be, some hard work to do to kind of get used to living like this, but we're just going to give it a go. These are the things we can control. We can control how we respond to each other if we find ourselves confined in a small space. And as I was sort of praying about this, I was reminded of the story. It's in Acts 27, Acts 28, where Paul has been taken prisoner and he's literally being taken to Rome on a ship where he's going to eventually stand trial before Caesar. And on that journey, there's this huge storm that blows up, and it's a really big one. It is so serious. They find them, but there's some amazing things that kind of flow out of this story. Paul has this encounter with an angel of God, and it really changes the game for him and how he responds. The first thing we discover is that the sailors on that ship say we have to get rid of the cargo, and they start jettisoning stuff left, right and centre. And it just made me think that probably in our lives at the moment, many of us have stuff that really is of no value for the moment we find ourselves in, and it's really no point trying to cling on to those things. What we need to do is identify what is in our life right now that is of ultimate value. What should we be giving our attention to? Not only do they throw all of this kind of cargo and baggage overboard to try and lighten the boat, but there's this point where Paul says to them, guys, you've got to stop and you've got to eat. You haven't eaten for days. And it may have even been they hadn't eaten for the full 14 days of this storm. And I just want to say, for all of us, we are spirit beings who live in physical bodies, and we have to look after ourselves. So I want to encourage you to think about, what can I do to maintain good practice? I want to encourage you, be getting the proper amount of sleep. Think about what you're eating. There's lots of Facebook memes and stuff like that about, well, here we are, we're going to be on the sofa for months just binging on Netflix, and you can see the picture of people eating nothing but crisps and pizzas. We need to exercise. We need to give our body the opportunity to physically work out that stress that it might be feeling. Those who know crisis situations well will tell us that it's important to put structure and routine in place. And so, just from Paul's thing about, you guys, you got to eat, I want to say to you, let's all look after ourselves. Let's really take this thing seriously. The other thing that's really fascinating about this story is the Apostle Paul says that as they were nearing ground and they feared being kind of shipwrecked on the shore, they threw these 4 anchors off the back of the ship to kind of slow that down. And I really believe there's some helpful anchors that we could put in our lives right now that will really help bring some stability to the circumstances we find ourselves in. The first thing I want to say is it really is a time for being authentic and vulnerable. There's nothing worse than someone who's pretending that everything is okay when it's not. And as a church family, we need to be able to turn around to each other and say, you know what, I'm doing well today, or I'm not doing well today. People like Brené Brown have written loads of stuff on authenticity and vulnerability and how actually it sets you up for success in the long run. And, I just want to say to you, the other night I went to bed, everybody else had gone to bed slightly before me. And as I put my head on the pillow, I just started thinking about this situation we're finding ourselves in. And suddenly I realised how frightened I'd actually become that day listening to the Prime Minister's kind of news briefing. And I just had to recognise that for myself. And I just prayed to God. I just said, Father, I feel really frightened. I feel totally out of control. I don't know what we're going to do. For me personally, we've lost 2/3 of our income because I'm self-employed, so I can't go out to work at the moment. And I just felt God turn up and minister to me. And the most beautiful thing happened was the God of peace gave me his peace. And I had an amazing night's sleep off the back of that. But I was able to talk to my wife about this as well, to Anne. And I just want to encourage you that at this time, we don't really need plastic heroes. What we need people who are authentic and say, this is what's going on in my life, but I know God's good and I know he has a solution to this. The second anchor I want to suggest throwing out is watch your diet. And I'm not talking about what we eat here. I'm talking about watch what you read and watch what you are looking at on TV and watch what you're listening to on the radio, because that stuff is shaping how you're feeling. I want to encourage you to be thinking on things that are good, things that point to God, things that are laden with hope and expectation in a good Father who wants to do so much in us and through us at this time. The third anchor I want to suggest that you kind of throw out is listen to God, connect with God. I found myself a few days into this, realising I'd just been busy trying to sort the kids' homeschooling, and there were all these Zoom meetings from church and this and that. And I thought, I haven't just found some time for me and God alone. And I want to encourage you to connect with him. I want you to do what Bill Johnson suggests, which is in a time of trouble, read through the Psalms until you find the psalm that is your voice, and then pray that to God. Have that conversation with him, saying, look, this is how I feel, because in that same psalm will be his response to you. I want you maybe to think about asking God, what should be my worship song at this time? The one song that I know when I put that on, it's just you and me, and all of the stress and all of the worry just disappears as I come into your presence. I want to suggest something else as well, which is there's a lot to kind of complain about at the moment, and believe you me, on social media lots of people are, But I want to say the key to connecting with God and actually moving forward in a positive way at a time like this is thanksgiving. It's finding things that you can say, God, I want to thank you for this. And I've no doubt all of us who are watching this, who've come to know Jesus, can say, thank you for saving me. Thank you that, Father, you cared enough for me to send Jesus. Thank you, Father, that you've issued an invitation to come and participate in the rule and reign of your kingdom as it defeats darkness and death and sickness and so on. And for me, I just want to share one simple little thank you that I have today. I want to say thank you to God for this egg. We've been without eggs for quite a while. We've been in self-isolation because we've had a bug and we didn't know whether it was coronavirus or not. And somebody from church yesterday did a little bit of shopping for us, and when they turned up at our front door, they said, I've got you some eggs. And I am really thankful for this egg, and I'm really thankful for the person who went to that trouble for us. So find something that you can give thanks for. And then fourthly, the fourth anchor I want to think about, which is going to bring stability, is actually connect with others. On Sunday morning last week, we decided to just set up a Zoom meeting with some folk we know from church who we've met with a few times and had a few meals with. And we just had a great time checking in, saying, how you doing? Are you okay? It's at a time like this that we really build this family called Eastgate. And I want to encourage you to do that. Find ways of connecting, maybe with groups of others online. A personal thing I've decided to do is I'm an extrovert, so I kind of am bouncing off the walls if I don't have contact with people outside the house. And so every day I've just been phoning 2 or 3 people from the church telephone list saying, hi, how you doing? What's going on? Is there anything we can pray for? And I want to encourage you to do this. This is how we build and forge that matrix that is the church family of Eastgate. We've got this wonderful tool called Church Suite. I want to encourage you, update your photos so people kind of can make the connection next to your name. If you haven't got your phone number up there, maybe put your phone number on so somebody can phone you. But for me, the heart of the story is Paul moved from this position that Luke's talking about, where he said all hope had been abandoned, to actually telling everyone on the ship, it's all right, no one's going to die. The ship will be lost, but we are going to be fine. And that all happened because Paul had an encounter with an angel of the Lord. He said, an angel of the God to whom I belong and whom I worship. And I just want to encourage us all to take a moment, right now if you want, to just check in with how you are really doing. And then invite the God to whom we belong and the God whom we worship to come in to minister strength and courage to us and equip us so that in this time, as we are under the same situation as everybody else, we can model how amazing our God is and how he is the only one who has a solution to the problems of the world we now find ourselves in. So I want to bless you, and I want to say may God be with you. And I really look forward to getting a phone call maybe from 1 or 2 of you, or meeting some of you on Zoom. But let's put these anchors out and let's bring some stability, and let's step up and just be this awesome bride, this awesome family of an amazing, incredible God. Bless you.